Hello, today we are testing the FireMizer, which is a new stove gadget, or it's new to me, and it looks like a matted pile of metal shavings, which is interesting, but it has an interesting effect. They're talking about it saving over 70% in emissions. They're talking about saving 38% in fuel, which is, I mean, those are big claims. Now, supposedly, the way it works is if you've got a grate, air coming up underneath, it will slow that air down and also stop larger particles of unburned fuel falling through the grate. So it's making it more like a wood burner, which is something obviously I talk about having a big effect on fuel economy. But it also spreads the heat more evenly across the base of the stove, and that supposedly makes things burn more thoroughly, more cleanly. Well, either way, we're going to have to try this out and see how we get on. But initially, you take your stove. I'm testing this with the Yotel. It's a nice cast iron stove, and it has a grate, but it's more focused on wood. So it's, I think, quite well suited to this. But I've cleared a bit of the ash away, and then it's as simple as chucking it in the bed, which I've done very awkwardly there, but then we build a fire. Let's see what it does. Okay, so I've been playing around with the FireMizer in this lovely Yotel F200 or 205, and I found no improvement at all, which is a little awkward, but it may be an unfair test because I am trying this with a top of the range, very high efficiency, all the modern bells and whistles stove. I still see some potential in the product because, as I've always mentioned, stuff where you've got big gaps under the grate and lots of air coming through does waste fuel, is less efficient, it is preventing that, and spreading the heat across the base of the stove makes sense that it would improve efficiency. So I'm going to try it in front of inside the open fire and see whether I get some very different results. I also think that with a older stove, we would potentially get some improvements, but I'm going to try the extreme example of it by the open fire initially and see what we get. The open fire, which is I'm probably going to get some abuse for even using an open fire because they're so dirty and inefficient and rubbish. But of course here, you notice a change. Already at the base here, I've got stuff burning down to red charcoal, and you can see and feel the difference over time with using this open fire with that metal mesh FireMizer at the bottom. You've got this spreading heat and you've got stuff burning down much more thoroughly. In terms of particulates coming out the top, I've no doubt they're cleaner. I don't have actual figures for you, but you can look out there. Stuff is definitely cleaner. But the biggest thing I'm sort of noticing is right down here, stuff's burning in a nicer way. I'm getting those red charcoals that I know when I'm using a top of the range stove, I get this bed of red charcoal and it looks fantastic, and I'm getting loads and loads of heat, and it's quite a slow, sedate burn. And I'm getting that from this, so I already know this is where I'm noticing the change. So for me, if you've got a brand new top of the range thing, I mean, it sort of makes sense, doesn't it? If you've got a brand new top of the range car, you don't need to then start going, can we lighten it and can we do this or can we tune it to make it more efficient? No, it's already done all of that stuff. But if you've got an old stove, if you've got a multi-fuel stove, but you're burning mainly wood, if you've got an open fire, here is where you'll notice the change. And the change does come in you're burning less fuel because you are burning stuff much more thoroughly, and you are burning cleaner. Here we've got something that's very inefficient and not doing a great job. And so it's much, much easier to improve. And the FireMizer is a cheap, easy thing. You just drop it in. So if you're using an open fire or an old stove that's not very efficient, not very clean burning, if you're struggling with black on the glass all the time, I think I would recommend it. I think it's worth a go. It's not an expensive thing. It's a thing you can just chuck in, forget about, and I think it does a reasonable job.